Hello and welcome to the Feedback Show. I'm Stephen Bradley.
And I'm Colin Bradley.
Welcome back, everyone, to another Feedback Show. Lots of submissions to talk about this week. Managed to make it down. I braved the weather. It's been crazy weather this week here in southeast of England, all over England. It's been crazy, but we're not used to it down here, are we?
Not down. No, not in the where we are. No, we very rarely get heavy snow. And we haven't got it now, have we? If you come from up towards London, and it was pretty thick up there, wasn't it?
It was.
Down here,
it was
just a smattering.
There was by mid-Kent, there was 9 inches of snow.
Oh, that's really.
Yeah, people were completely like, I'm not going anywhere.
Well, I think we probably got a couple of inches, if that, to be honest, and that's what we've had. So I'd rather that than I like the snow, and I do nice snow pictures, but going out in it, no, not really, no.
Anyway, basically we sacrificed a lot to get this show going.
We certainly have. Yeah, I was very surprised you made it, to be honest. And,
it did cross my mind, but there's a lot of things to do today, and I thought it's an adventure.
Yes.
I say that when I get stranded, but no, it is an adventure, and it has been. Anyway, let's crack on to give you some feedback on your work this week. Let's see if I can make this any smaller. Not really. Okay, so first one's from Tina. Tina's done your Craftsy course, and she says, my question is about the pressure that I'm using to get the coverage that Colin achieves in his underlayer, usually with the white or any other light colour. I'm having trouble adding layers to my picture after putting the first initial layers. For example, with the cat lesson from Craftsy, when it came to adding the last layers, I could not see the white that I'd put down. I definitely couldn't add the final whiskers, no matter how sharp I made my pencil. It wouldn't cut through the layers. It seemed almost as if the paper was saturated and couldn't handle any more colour. How do I avoid that? Does it involve the amount of pressure I'm using, the paper, or a combination of those, or could it be something else entirely?
Well, we can get wrapped up in all sorts of problems here, and certainly pressure is one of the things that Tina's mentioned a few times. And I kind of feel that you've got to do a lot of work really to understand how pressure works. You can't just suddenly do a picture and say, "Oh, I've got it right first time." It won't work that way. It took me a long time to understand how much pressure to put on the pencil. The other thing is with pastel pencils, all pastel work, well, pastel pencil work, you have a problem of not being able to put light on top of dark. I wish you could, but you can't. Soft pastel works differently to that. Pastel matte helps a little bit here because you've got a bit more grip on the paper, so you can do it. But we can't. So what we have to do with the ombre paper is work the undertones much lighter. Don't put a lot of pressure on, especially when you're going to be knowing that you're going to be putting some light colours back on again. Now, this is the key to it. So keep the pressure low to start with. Just cover the paper. As long as you cover the paper, and in our case it's the sand coloured paper, as long as you cover that, then that's enough. But if you keep going, you're going to end up saturating, and then you've got the problems that Tina's got there.
So that's what happened with the fur there. Is that kind of a clear example of just a little too much base
and experience?
And pressure.
That and experience to get. I mean, my cat there was done on Craftsy, and during the filming, and I explained as I went along how much pressure was needed. I said a little light touch here, and so the problem is when you've got a video, you've got to keep looking at the video.
Yeah,
you've got to constantly have it there. Stop, do a bit more. Stop, do a bit more. Stop, do a bit more. That way. And the danger is, of course, you can just go, "Oh, well, I think I know how that's done," and then carry on all the way through. And I would always advise anybody when they're working with the video instruction we give is to keep looking at the video, keep checking it, making sure that you're right. And does your picture at that stage look like mine? If it looks too strong, then you're overdoing the...
Take a little bit off.
Yeah, the danger of doing that though, Steve, once you've put the pressure on the paper, you're committing yourself and you're starting to crush that paper.
Right.
With me?
Okay.
So rubbing it out and doing it again isn't going to really solve the problem. You've got to be constantly aware of it. One of the good things about that come from this is Tina knows what she's done wrong. So you take that to the next picture usually.
Yeah, yeah. If you don't know, then there's a problem. But if you know, then you can correct it or practice it.
Keep looking, keep checking the references, and you'll get there in the end. But one of the things she said about whiskers, didn't she? Put the whiskers on.
Yeah.
Well, we know that is a problem, and you have to have a sharp pencil to cut through. But again, if you've overdone the pastel, you're not going to get the whisker on.
Right. So it's exactly what she's saying.
Exactly what you're saying, yeah. And you can't do it. You see, looking at the second picture there, there's a lot of base colour on there. You can see
this one here.
Well, there and
there.
There. But in both instances,
okay,
you've got a lot of base colour on that. You can see it, and how I know that is because it's very light. If you look at mine on the left hand side, I've got base colour. I have to have base colour in there, but it's not as light.
Yeah.
Got me? It's self-evident when you look at that what the problem is. Too much base.
There you go. There you go, Tina. So keep practicing and keep referring to videos, and eventually over time you'll be able to adjust that pressure and that base colour and get it just right. Okay, next one from Wendy. Hi, Stephen Colin. I know I was being a bit ambitious here, but like Colin, I love the Victorian period for art. I would love some feedback on the attached pastel of the fisherman. I realise there is probably quite a lot wrong with this one, i.e. the shoreline is a bit too uniform. Kind regards, Wendy. So this is Wendy's picture of the fisherman.
I don't think it matters very much. I mean, the reason I've done that is that artistically it works. The way we've got the sweep of the water and the perspective of the water. But what's wrong with that. The only other thing I would point out there is, and this is something you may not have even seen yourself, if you go right up to the horizon line.
Over here.
Yeah, just there, exactly there. All right on the. You notice that we go up at the end. See?
Like that.
Yeah. Now, when you've got that distance involved, you can't have that. You've got to have it straight.
I didn't even notice that.
No, I don't, and I don't think Wendy's probably noticed it either. But if you look at mine, you'll see it straight.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So that's another little point that you could easily alter that, mind you. It's quite simple. You just put a pencil line along, make it a little darker. But it's the sort of thing that can happen without you realising it. But I'm very, very aware of those sort of things. So that's just a small point. I don't think you've done too badly. The cliff itself is not as subtle as my one. So you've got a little bit too heavy with the dark tones. And if that ever happens to you, what you can do there is if you press a putty rubber on that, you'll take a lot of that off.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I would do. If you've overdone the dark, you think, just don't try rubbing it out. Well, it will work, but it's not a good idea. Just put a putty rubber on it and you'll take a layer or two of it off. And surprisingly enough, when you do that, it will look much more realistic.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, but that's a little bit heavy. But, cliffs are hard to do. Very hard to do. And I mentioned this when I did that, I think. Anyway. As a fisherman, no, I think you've done well.
Well done, Wendy. There you go. It's just a couple of things.
You've got the reflections really nice in the water. And on the beach. That's a hard thing to do, that. It's neither water nor beach, is it? It's somewhere between the two. So I think you've done very well there.
Well done. A couple of things to focus on then, Wendy. Okay. Next one from Paul. It was an absolute delight painting this animal. Such wonderful coloration. It was all quite testing. The shadows and the legs, the furs, the texture. But I was determined to do it justice, and I really hope I did. As you can see, the bottom has been cut down because I thought the grasses, etc., were not very good, putting it mildly. So the most challenging thing was the background, or mainly the bottom section. However, most of the bear was also challenging, so I took it very slowly. Many thanks, Paul.
Well, congratulations. That's a very, very good effort, that. And don't worry about the grasses; they are a nightmare. If you can do it, they look great. If you can't do it, they don't look great. It's as simple as that. There's no halfway mark with that. As you know, with that kind of thing, very impressionistic. But apart from that, I think you've done very well. You watch out. Sometimes you get a little hump. You see, if you look at the line of orange at the back, you see where mine sweeps down like that, and yours goes flat suddenly. The only reason I mention it is because when you're dealing with animals, particularly, that could be misconstrued. You know, you're not representing the animal as it was, as it should be. So just be careful on that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, no, I think you've done well. Not a lot to say about it, really. I love the way he's chewing that grass or leaves.
Yeah.
And that's what attracted me to this picture.
Yeah, it's a lovely bit of interest there, isn't it?
Yes, and Sophie Gates, who is our wildlife photographer friend who took the original picture, did wonderfully well to put that grass right against that dark colour. That's what attracted me.
Yeah.
Because had it been anywhere else, it would still work, but it wouldn't have worked as well as that. Mm. But we've got to thank her for that.
Yeah, well done.
But well done. No, it's very good.
Nothing more for that, Paul. Nice one. Okay, a bit of advice here for Anita. She sent in this picture and said, I've been asked to do this portrait and I am scared, as I would like a little bit of advice. So what can we tell Anita?
Well, there's two things here that immediately strike me as being a bit odd. One is the ear, flapped up like that. Now, if you're going to draw it like that, well, maybe the poor animal's got his ear up there, I don't know. But and maybe you've got a copy, but it does look a bit odd. So that ear's got to drop down. Now, what you could do there is just check the internet on a similar animal and follow the idea of that. Don't do it like that. The other problem you've got is the photographer, or whoever took the photograph, got a bit too close to the animal, and it's made it out of proportion.
Yeah, it's distorted, isn't it?
Yes, the nose and the snout forward of that has become too big for the animal. Now, the problem with it is if you were to draw it like that, that's what your picture would like. And you can't blame the photographer for it. You can't say, oh, well, that's what it looked like, so I just did it. You're an artist. You've got to make those adjustments or say, I'm sorry, can you send me another picture? Mm. You see, if it had been taken a little bit farther away, it probably wouldn't have had that fishbone effect, that you can get. And then all you've got to do then is to cut it down. The photography these days, the photographs these days are very good quality. Yeah. So you can then take it further away and then cut it down.
Crop it in. Yeah.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah. So really, this not following this picture, basically finding another picture.
Yes, my advice really is I wouldn't do that as it stands at the moment because it's out of proportion. It doesn't.
And the ear as well.
Definitely the ear. I mean, some animals do have ears that flop about, but that does look peculiar, doesn't it? Do you not think?
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny angle, a bit funny shape, isn't it? Tricky, very tricky to do. I mean, if that's obviously how the animal's represented, then another picture further away would help you with the proportions on the nose.
It would be, yeah. You're also going to have a problem when it comes to the neck. Are you going to do it exactly like that? That is out of proportion with the nose. It's all muzzle and nose, and I'm sure the dog doesn't look like that in real life. So
yeah,
be careful.
Okay,
it's a good thing to include though, because a lot of people probably wouldn't see this. I've done an awful lot of animal work, and I've taken photographs similar to that and think, oh, that's no good, I have to do another one. So, good advice really. I think there is not do it.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Anita. Okay, a couple of requests from Sue now we've got coming up. This is the first one. I've a question about your dad getting the sheen effect on a brown dog. Up to now, following the tutorials, the best results I've had have been on black animals, where the black gradually blends into a dark grey, mid-grey, light grey, then white, which makes total sense to me. My question is, on a brown animal, would you still use white, light grey and mid-grey as the undertones, and then go over the white with ivory, and go over the different greys with varying brown shades? I can't seem to quite get the same shiny effect as I can on the black. Should we deal with that first?
Yeah, well, no, you won't either. They're very hard to do. The brown, I've not done a brown there, but I said I was going to, and I haven't done one yet. But I will eventually get around to it. But they are difficult animals to paint, and you will have difficulty with it. As far as you were going to use white over the ivory, I'd do it the other way around. You put the ivory on, and if you need to put white, you put the white on the ivory.
Yeah. Oh, white on the ivory.
Yeah. You don't put you've got white on the ivory here. I put the ivory on first, then the white on top of the ivory. That way,
interesting.
To lighten it. Because whatever you put on the base colour is the colour that is.
It's the tone that's going to come through.
It sets it off. Yeah.
Gotcha. And you want that to be ivory.
In this case, and there are examples on the website of me actually doing that. You've got to search for them though.
So would you then? So what would you do after that? You put.
Oh, then I would. Grey is you've got to use the grey because the browns that would be too rich.
Yeah.
So you've got to use a grey. I would use on this animal. I would use 270 for the lighter colours, and maybe 273 for the darker colours. If you don't put the grey on, the brown becomes too rich. That's what you've got to be careful of. And there's a lot of browns. 283 is 177.
Into the mid-grey, into the 273.
Yeah, on top of the greys. Yeah. You'll have to practice it though. I can't give you the exact colours because I've not done a brown lab.
Yeah.
But looking at that, that's what I would do.
Okay.
I don't think you've done too bad a job there.
Well, Sue says this is her first attempt over there on the top left.
But again, you see, if you look at that, there's not enough richness in the brown, so you've overdone the greys, you've overdone the lighter colours. You see what I mean? So it's a balanced job again, like we were talking about with the cat earlier on. You've got to get it balanced up. And
like you said before with the cat, you can see the lightness, the fact that it's a lighter tone overall coming through, that you can just see those greys a little bit.
Always a good tip, which is what I do a lot. If I'm not sure of colour, I do a test piece first.
I do like a little part of a fur or something like that.
Yeah, just a little section, just to see how the greys work. And you'll find that will give you either it won't work, and if it doesn't work, you've got to try to find something else. But eventually you do come and sometimes the combinations are surprising. You think, good, I wouldn't have thought of that. So it's a good idea to do a little test run before you start an animal, before you start a picture.
Yeah. Well, that sort of covers this, because Sue has then asked, again, she's got another brown lab to do, and this is the photo that she's been sent. So she's wondering whether she should doctor this picture at all, because of the composition very similar to what we saw before. The head's slightly bigger than the body. It's sort of the picture's sort of slightly distorted the dog. So what would you do here, Dad?
Well, probably what you could do is certainly you've got to change the body. You can't do it like that.
Yeah,
that would look really silly. But go to the next up again, Steve.
Yeah.
You see that picture there, and the one in the middle.
Yeah.
Would work.
Right.
Just the
sort of that cut off.
Well, a bit lower. I'd drop it below that dingle dangle thing there. There.
The collar.
Yeah.
So use that sort of.
I'd use that, yeah, and then fade it out or cut it out, and you could put that head on there. That would work very well.
Bit of Frankenstein work there.
Oh, I do it all the time.
I know you do. I remember you telling me about one.
That's a better photograph, though. If you look at that photograph, it's a good photograph, and you'll be able to get a sheen on that.
Yeah.
You see, if you look at that just above the eye, between the eye and the ear, you've got a nice sheen there. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Now, what colour is that? Would you say, if you were looking at that, what colour is it?
It's grey, isn't
exactly,
it? It's a grey. So you put a 270 and then a little bit of.
Yes, yes, but in this case, you could possibly even get away with 230 there, because sometimes you get a. Well, 230 has got a slight bluey hue to it.
The coolness to it.
That's what I look. When I look at that, I see 230. I can see 230 in that colour. If I can see it, that's what I use.
Yes, I see.
Doesn't really. The difference between 270 and 230 is not a lot.
No.
It just one's.
If you're going to pick one, pick the 230. That's.
I would in that particular case. The one above, I wouldn't. Because it's
warmer.
Warmer, yeah.
Yeah. The overall tone of the picture is warmer, though, isn't it?
Mm.
It's how. It's how. Sorry, I was going to say that's how different photographs can be, can't they?
Mm. But that's a nice picture. That.
Lovely. Well, there you go, Sue. I hope that's been some good advice. I hope other people have found that useful too. Let us know how you get on. Okay, next one from Brian. Last one for today. Hi, Stephen. I did this picture of 2 snow geese recently and did the picture on pastel matte paper. I really love working on this type of paper. I drew the birds using faber-castell polychromos colouring pencils and then filled the background with pastel pencils. The original picture is from Pixabay, which is a free picture website, and it had the birds flying over swampy water. I wanted to change it and drew them in the sky. My question is to Colin is about composition. Does he like the way I changed it? Would he have done it a different way? Or have just drawn it like the original swamp picture? And what does Colin think of using colouring pencils and pastel pencils in the same drawing?
Okay, right. Well, I'm a purist and I like to use the pastel pencils through and through. I wouldn't mix them about. So that's the answer to the first question. Do I use colour pencils and pastel pencils again? No, I wouldn't. Wouldn't. There's no need to do that. Pastel pencils are quite capable of doing the job for you. Would I have changed it and put it in the sky? No, I wouldn't. I'd have done it as it there. It sets up there. So I'd followed that picture. All I would have done, really, folks, which is more or less what you've got there, is have the slight hazy background.
So like these.
Followed that, yeah.
So made them like an impressionistic kind of style.
Or you could do it exactly as it is there. I think that's a lovely picture, beautiful picture. I wouldn't have put it in the sky, but everybody's got to do what they think is right. The only thing is, if you look at the picture on the right, Brian, you'll see you've got dark blue at the top, light blue at the bottom.
Oh, I see. That's
the first thing. You've got to split across that picture. You really need some dark blue underneath or light blue at the top, one or the other. So you've got a little bit better colour combination. And the other thing, which is something that I would pick up if you were asking me what I thought of that particular composition, you see the wing on the right-hand side.
This one?
Yeah. It follows the exact line as though it's actually laying on the cloud.
Ah, I see.
What it does, you see, it gives a false impression. Easy way out of that, really. You just bring some of the cloud underneath on top.
Yeah.
So don't have a line like that, because once again you're misinterpreting what you see.
I see what you mean.
Now, if you'd done the other one, you wouldn't have had that problem.
There you go. Well,
but the execution of the picture is very good. The geese are very good.
Yeah.
In fact, that's so nice. I wouldn't mind having to go at that. But what I would do is I would do it as you see it there.
Well, I don't know if the free picture website, I'm sure it's available.
We'll have a look. We'll have a look, Brian. I'll check it out. Pixabay, is it? I'll check it out because I haven't done the geese, and it's a good composition.
Not in flight either.
No, it's a lovely picture. So we'll have a look, Brian, and see what I can do.
Yeah, might see a tutorial on that in the future.
In a couple of years.
Yeah, at this rate.
We're way ahead of ourselves at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Lovely. Well done, Brian. Thanks for sending that picture in. And that's it for
Well, there's a mixed
for this.
bag
I
today,
mean,
wasn't there?
there's a whole load in this show. So I hope everyone's found that useful and helpful and enjoyed that. Keep your pictures coming in. This service is available to members of our website. So if you want to find out more about becoming a member and get this service, then just go to our website, colinbradleyart.com, and click on the sign up button along the top. And we'll be back in probably a couple of weeks, few weeks, depending on the submissions. We like to get a few submissions, as you've seen today, come through so that we can do one show and fill it with tips and advice from yourself.
Absolutely.
So thanks everyone for watching. I'm Stephen Bradley.
And I'm Colin Bradley.
Bye for now.